Welcome everyone to Dose of Truth Tarot for the week of August 8th to the 14th of 2025. And I am Terry Ann Nikitas, and we're going to be looking at the Pythia Tarot. So one of the cards, the foundation card, has the Acropolis on it. So I thought I'd have that energy here next to us. The first time I went to the Acropolis, I was 11 years old. That's 1971. So I thought, well, with that nice feeling of being 11 years old and walking, in those days you could walk right through everything and touch everything. I think it's all sealed off now. I'm not 100% sure, but I know there was a period of time you couldn't walk around the entire Acropolis. But in those days, we took pictures sitting there on the stones, and it was rather lovely, and no one was there because I guess it was super hot, and there wasn't as much tourism in the 70s as we have today. So with all of that incredible transition in mind, I'm looking towards, because we're basically in the dead sort of middle of summer, and summer is a time for quiet reflection. It's warm. Enjoy all the fruits of the earth. But for some of us in solstice, or some of us, not everyone, it's been kind of a roller coaster. There have been so many things that have erupted to the surface, whether it's illness, whether it's relationship issues, whether it's culmination of things that lead to transformation, which you could say is kind of preparation for the transformative period during the autumnal equinox, where we reap the harvest of our transformations. So I'm keeping that strong energy in mind. So those of you who are just having a calm, cool, collected summer, this may influence your fall. Meaning autumn, and I'm looking at more closely the week to come, which is the 8th to the 14th, but I can feel sort of energies that are telling us about the harvest time in the fall. So let's see what comes out today. I'm going to use a few more cards and look at things that in the past have intervened, things that are influencing us or impinging on us in the present, and then a couple of cards to let us know what's going on in the future. And I'm basically looking at, let's say, a 5-week period. That's going to include some of what has already passed. So let's split the cards. Here's our Pythia. Let's split it, and we're going to see the first card is the King of Wands. So this is kind of indicative of the of what we felt arising within us. So it could be I'm saying could because I don't know the next card, but it does indicate that the masculine has had a fiery side that is rising. So it's an active energy. And that active energy could be pushing you. It could be brewing. It could be just that you're having a hot summer and your body's hot. So there's that as well. But I'm really looking at it as this dynamic, not just a dynamic energy, but a really active, moving dynamism. Okay. Yeah. So it's the dynamism that would be the sort of precursor to what I've already said is the question and a little bit of my intuition. Let's go with the second card. So that dynamism is going to lead to, this is the 8 of sorts. So you get this fire, and fire disturbs air. As you can see, this is air. And also, as you notice, there's apparently rain in here. There's water coming down in the air. It's not lightning, it's water. And there's a gal that's hung here. I think this is, what's her name? Let's see if it gives us a name. No, but any of you who know who that is, I'm so bad with remembering names, but I can feel as though I know. Could be one of the Furies tied up. I think it's probably one of the Furies. So we've got this energy from the masculine that is pushing the feminine. That can be our emotions, but because it's in swords, it can be the fire that stimulates the emotions, that stimulates the mind to tie us up, to bind us, to limit us. So this is a great time to use the fire for something very different. It's to burn the bindings of the mind, burn the bindings of the mind. So how do you do that? Well, one of them is you ignore them. One of them is you do something other than engage with the mind. So, well, you don't want to engage with the mind, but you want to use your mind to think of something that disengages from the mind. So let's say your mind is bothering you in the morning, you got lots of thoughts. One of the things I do when I wake up and I have lots of thoughts, let's say I ate something strange for my tummy. I usually like to leave at least 5 hours before I go to bed without anything in the digestive system except water. And if I don't, let's say, we eat at 7, that's just terrible for me, which can happen. You can have guests over, stuff like that, and my body just doesn't sleep well with it, so I can wake up with a lot of thoughts. Or if I have sugar, there's like we had dessert at a meal this past weekend, and I woke up and, of course, overstimulating the pancreas and feeling that sort of sense of dread, or sweatiness. You get kind of sweats, kind of panicky, and that's the sugar just not sitting well in the body, which usually it doesn't. Especially if you're eating sugar late at night. You could get sugar earlier in the day and do a workout, and you could use up that sugar, but if not, you wake up. So you can think about those things as reasons. I'm just giving you an example or a couple of examples. But the other part is, what do I do to distract? So I know the cause, which is usually very logical, not analytical, something sequential. Oh, I ate that, so it's very Scrooge-ish. When you think of Scrooge at night seeing the ghosts, and he says it must have been something that I ate, something that is some undigested piece of meat, I think, or offal. So that kind of thing can stimulate the mind. Also, you can think about, well, what has gone on recently? Did I overdo it? Has there been some bad news? You might think you got over it, but usually 3 days before something occurs in the body and mind, or you feel something 3 days before, you might notice there was something going on, even though you felt well after it. Like you could feel super well about going through a lot of stressful things, and then all of a sudden you get really tired and you're like, why? I've been doing really well, I've been great, but your body's trying to do its catch up from the stress. So all of this to say that when the mind is active, because in this case it's fire can burn your food, fire can burn sugar, fire can indicate stress, and the masculine could be pushing. You could be pushing a lot, to it being very, very active, and then it overstimulates the mind that starts to run rampant, and the next thing you need to do is disengage. How do you disengage? Well, you might take a rest. And you say, well, I'm trying to take a rest, but my mind won't stop. So things like movement, like yoga, like Feldenkrais, like going for a walk, stretching, all that kind of stuff, listening to music and moving your body. Anything to allow the brain, which is your whole body, as most of you know, the brain is not just appear. And we talk about three separate brains: head brain, heart brain, gut brain. But of course, that's not just the only thing that is the brain. Those three separate energy places, locations. We're a complete brain, right? This is, as soon as we're touching something, we can close our eyes and know what that thing is. Everything is communicating, and this brain is the one that sends out programs. It's not the one that actually thinks, but it seems like all the thoughts are in there when the thoughts are everywhere. So getting your body to move and disengaging. I don't mean avoiding, by the way. I don't mean avoiding. I mean finding something to engage in. So some people go and say, I'm just going to shrug that off. No, I'm going to do it with an awareness. I say, oh, my mind is very active. Let's see what goes on when I start moving. And you start to notice the mind starts releasing all of its thinking. It's rather beautiful. And then you can get more organized. The liver can feel a lot better, right? So liver is huge in this. It does a lot of biochemical processes. All right, so the next one, the center one, the present. Whoa, we got chains here. So this one is all about the hanged man. Okay, so the hanged man, and I think this must be Prometheus, right? Yes, it is. It's Prometheus where he's getting his liver. Talk about, right? I just mentioned liver. Liver super important. His liver gets plucked out, right? So we're. It's kind of weird when I'm already intuiting what's coming next. Yeah, sometimes it's like, oh, okay, so we already have that information. So in this case, you want to assure that you do engage the entire brain. So what I was saying earlier, so that you can disentangle yourself from the mind's chains, right? So what is Rousseau's quote? A man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains, and that is the mind, right? Right. I shouldn't say just right. To me, that quote from Rousseau is all about the mental chains that we have. So we've got double energies here. So if this is a transformation period that my intuition is telling me we're going through, whether it's very, very subtle or at a very beginning stages, and we're going to start transforming, let's hope we're not binding ourselves to more and more belief systems, more and more ideas that limit us, that we're going in another direction. Because as you can see, it's not so great to be bound. But let's see where we're going. So the next card is the Three of Earth. So this tells us, well, I've already said some of the things. Three of Earth is building our ability to connect with the earth and ground. So I said earlier, go for a walk, move your body. The physical body itself is earth, right? So the mind and binding us, that means I'm not connected to the earth. So I don't know about you all, but when I'm in the city too much, I noticed this yesterday or the day before. I think it was Monday, yes, the electricity went off in my house. So, of course, the first thing is, oh my goodness, I have to reschedule my clients. In the old days, we wouldn't have been able to reschedule people internationally. You'd have to have, where's my phone book, international calls. And what's so cool is now we have the phone and the phone running on cell. I didn't have to wait. I could call everyone and say, do you want to do your session on the phone? Would you like to reschedule? I could record the sessions later when the electricity comes on. It was so nice to do this in a very relaxed way. And I was super relaxed while the electricity was off. I was thinking about sessions. I was chatting with someone, and I was walking around. I love, being able to walk while I'm talking to someone. It's so wonderful. That energy is very refreshing. It also really helps the intuition when we're moving, which eventually I'll start to move more when I'm doing this, because I finally got a table that I can lift up here and I don't have to sit down and do sessions. But I need to figure out how to get everything in place to do that. So if you think about sorry, I didn't finish my story. I went off on a tangent as usual. So the electricity was off, and I was walking around, and I'm talking on the phone, and I'm walking around. Now, remember, the phone still has EMF and going, uh, influencing my brain. But as I was walking around, I was very stable because some of you might know that I'm not so stable on my legs if I'm walking around objects or doing too many things. This is since a long time now that my stability is limited sometimes. And all of a sudden, as I was walking, this beautiful silence ended, and I heard the fridge go on, and I saw a few lights go on, and I heard some ping pings, and I'm like, oh, the electricity's back. And I was like, all right, this is great. And the next thing that happened was I started feeling this headache coming back. And I went, that's really interesting. I haven't felt my headache at all, but I can feel it now. And it started to pressure. And as the headache came in, I felt my eyes closing a bit. And then I felt my balance go. And it was so apparent to me that all of these electronics, all of this influencing our bodies all the time, and how much we need to ground. So, I brought my crystal out so I can ground a lot more. Got a few more crystals. I'm making sure I'm barefoot here so that I can ground. I've got my grounding mat underneath to reduce the impact of all of this. That will be, I know it's a long story, but that's going to be your 3 of apples, which is 3 of earth, that knowledge that we need to have of everything that is impinging on us, especially the mind, and how much the mind would be influenced by all of these dynamics that are around us. And we need to think clearly and ground ourselves so that we're operating in a much, much better way. All right, so the last card is, what's this beautiful card? This is Queen, oh my goodness, another Earth card. This is Queen of Pentacles. So this is, notice we started with the masculine fire, and now we're with feminine earth. So feminine is the body, as I've said, it's Mother Earth, the earth that we walk on. We have Father Sky, masculine, Mother Earth. So we know traditionally in the general scheme of things, in the collective, that most of, there are some cultures that do it opposite, but most cultures, and we're working with the Greek culture here. So the Greeks have the moon is feminine, and the earth is feminine. It's Yi, it's mother, and the sky is Uranus, and that is masculine. Those are the 2 gods. We have Gaia and Uranus that came together to create the earth. Fengari is different, which is moon, so I don't want to bring that in. I think Selimi and Fengari both have different genders. All right, so in summary, the next week, and because I brought this into the view of, let's say, maybe up to the 22nd of September, we're looking at the fire that is stimulating the mind, which can also be EMF and electricity and all that kind of stuff that can stimulate us so the mind gets overactive. When the mind gets overactive, we're bound. We become tied up right there, Prometheus. And when we're tied up, the thing we need to do is do something grounding. Grounding can be breathing. Grounding can be moving the body. Grounding can be lying on the earth, walking on the earth. And the feminine says, really get in touch with the feminine energy of the earth. This says work on the body, work on connecting with the earth. This one says get in touch with the feminine that is the earth and what comes from there, because there's a lot of fruit that, of course, everything comes from the earth. There's nothing here that doesn't come from the earth. We come from the earth, from everything. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's man-made, it all came from the earth originally. She's the one who gives it all, and we need Father Sky to help nourish it so things are created on the earth. And see what will come to fruition, and that's going to be closer to September, to autumn, where we get the autumnal equinox, and we start reaping the harvest. Okay, so next week I'll do the week, but we can keep this reading in mind, that this is overarching or it could be theme underlying, or it's our backdrop. Yeah, I think the best way to put it is it's our backdrop for the next, let's say, 5, 6, 7 weeks. And I really feel like the crux of it is in 5 weeks, so maybe things will change in the last 2. All right, my loves, have a wonderful week, and see you next week.